So it's going to be a fun game.
That it is, and we've already seen the barriers go up. An attempt at mid-control right away going to be taken as the Pacific team of Detonation FocusMe about to run into Nuki. A great counter stun coming into play. The dash not working for Soldam, and now they're stuck behind that smoke. The space taking hasn't worked, and the numbers back in Giants' favor.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of weapons take a hit recently, but the Frenzy isn't one of them, and I kind of wish it was. Just the amount we've seen with that gun. And the fact is they haven't actually rotated their setup here. Still got the full KJ setup of Hoodie, and then you've got that support from Cloud as well. This is a pretty nasty spot to try and push into here.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And, you know, those rotations are going to be quick from the B side as well. That close position, it's an off angle you don't normally see held, but he's whipping every shot. The final bullet at least finds its mark. And, again, the brakes have to be pumped. This attacking side, they're trying to take little pieces of map control, and every time they're being denied so far.
Yeah, they're now just trying to play the waiting game, hoping that someone rotates away, although they're dropping guns on the floor, so I'm pretty sure that Giants aren't going to budge. They still know they're here because they're making sound. With 30 seconds left, there's not much of an opportunity to really rotate away at this stage. This round is looking dead to rights with a 4-man crossfire. Not even a kill comes through.
Yeah, the attempted stun out to suggest, but there's just too many players there to get anything done. That's a fantastic start for the Giant side, and well, they've got their round under their belt. I'm interested to see this second round investment coming out of them. We've already seen a Bulldog be invested into. It looks like for the most part we're going to be, a second Bulldog as well. We're going to bolster down a little bit. So if we do see these two rifles through, it's a little bit more of a risk, right? They can't afford to lose as many players here.
RIP Stinger. Of course, we are on the patch that has, well, a lot of people think nerfed it into oblivion. It's definitely reduced the range of it, so you're not going to see those same sort of 4 spies anymore, and there was no plant, so it wouldn't have even happened for DFM anyway. They have gone in for the Sheriffs, though, Mitch, so a chance to try and make things a little bit more costly. And with a 4-man C-push, well, they're walking into Hoodie's setup again.
So the idea here, though, is clearly a bait, right? They're walking towards that turret, they're making noise, they're taking this orb to try and force them out into a fight so those Sheriffs can take them down with numbers. But all the while, we've seen Rada wait over here on long. The spike had been left down in the spawn. This is supposed to be a very slow round coming out of the Pacific side, and well, so far, it is slow, but they haven't found any of those mistakes on the Giants side, and I think that largely comes down to those two Bulldogs. They're not going to go pushing. They're not going to go taking crazy space. This is a round for Giants where they sit back and let you come to them, and oh, there's a first.
Nice little timing shot. I'm liking the fact as well they've got Nuke here sort of rotating around different positions, so whenever that stun is online, he'll be able to set up his teammates. But for Tino, this is just a firing range, a chance to get towards that Blade Storm. He's not missing a beat. And well, again, it's the same as last round. They have to try and fall back and find another avenue of attack.
Yeah, look, no shields even on these players, right? Having gone for the Sheriffs, they needed to save over the rest of their credits, and yeah, it just leads to them being so easy to take down. The numbers really where they can get ahead. One more kill, it'd be great. That might have even taken the Bulldog out of play, but not quite able to get it done.
There's been a few moments for Giants where I'm just like, that's a little bit too whiffy for my liking, but they've got away with it. Now, 2 players I actually want to really focus on in this game are actually going to be the Astras, Rhyme and Zimfree. 2 players that in the past weren't exactly renowned for their controllers, so it's something that I think would definitely have to be taken into consideration. Zimfree moving away from sort of a pretty decent initiator to try and fit into this roster. So if he's not able to have that same impact, definitely could be an issue, and maybe even some teething problems early on in events.
You just saw the stat pop up there about Soldam. We'll be talking a bit about him later on, but right here and now, Detonation FocusMe coming in with rifles. The same start to the round, 4 players on C-Long, but they've got a little bit more all in on the strategy. 5 players this time, Spike coming as well, and they've got the site for free. A retake attempt out of Giants, and I think this was the right call, especially when you look at the player who's on site being Ryan. Nuki's just got dropped through the smoke.
Yeah, that was dirty. That was just a couple of bullets tapped through, and that's probably the player you want most alive in this sort of scenario, except maybe Rhyme on that Astra. Soldam's still looking to try and take these aggressive spots. It's what he's known for, these almost frag movie highlights, but yet to really get anything done as the push looks to come back through.
There was a lot of utility in his way. He's got to hold strong, though, with his teammate falling. The kills are going Giants' way, and it looks like they might have the round. Time's going to be an issue here if Zimfree can hold on a little longer, and there's a player low HP, managing to use a star to at least delay it, and he might have it. It's going to be so tight. A 1 bullet needed on the diffuser. It's halfway. He'll get the kill in the second. Zimfree closing out a round that they desperately needed. That's putting them right on the board.
Yeah, the Red Bull clutch to give them their first round, Mitch, but you have to bear in mind what was put into it.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. That was a 5v4 retake where you're the team with the rifles and you win the round by 10 HP. So they've scraped it. They've got themselves into a position where they can battle, but now you have to consider, what are Giants bringing back in? Okay, they've got an operator. They've got rifles on every single player. And although there are rifles on the other side, they're already having to take a bit of a hit, even just with some utility.
That's it. So we've seen the denial of at least that third round. We're not going to see Giants run away with the economy early, but
no
you
shot.
What?
No, he's just spammed the wall.
Well, that is karma coming back to get him. I mean, the last round suggests blind fire through a smoke, headshots, nuke you. Nuke you this round, gives it right back to him. A wall this time between them, but
that's what the Phantom
wouldn't
as well.
stop him. That's actually nuts.
It's just disgusting.
And you know, look, the thing is, the fact that they lost so many players in the previous round, this is a very tough round. If they lose it, Giants will just speed into the lead. The economy will start to snowball. And already being a player down, they have to be so cautious on this attack. And that's why you see them a minute on the clock. They've got practically no space taken.
They're trying to almost lurk back through the delay put into play, but Rhyme has been tagged up, but they're just falling away from it. They're almost trying to move players off of that B site, hoping someone rotates into the path of Anthem. Unfortunately, it haven't. And with the alarm bot still there, a star down as well, the second that goes off, there will be a repick, if not before.
And that smoke will go up, stopping anybody that's further back and not in the site from helping out their teammates. This could be a tough one, but the good thing is you're seeing players quite far away! Hoodie just walked in and sprayed! They've barely seen anyone this round! The Pacific side's in a 2v5, that is devastating!
Yeah, they've literally seen no one. It's literally just been knowing their spots, knowing their lineups, and now Soldan, we need one of those moments. We need to see one of those moments from a year ago. It's a nice start, but nothing more to be had. Raider left, 1 versus 4. Angle not cleared. A chance here with the second already going his way. Nuke and Cloud on the other side, but they can just start this defusal. He knows that somebody's on that spike. He hits the third, but it isn't quite there. Close. And a nice attempt for Raider, but it's still going to be the round for Giants.
We've seen this guy before, Absolute Jupiter, Zeta Division. He was a monster, but wow, that's one hell of a performance. I was expecting Soldan to do some work there. And you know, this is a guy we haven't seen on the international scene before. I know the desk was mentioning that. He came damn close, though. It was LCQ. He lost to Full Sense, who ended up at Champions, as you'll remember. And it was a BO5 Grand Final. 5th map, 13-8 on this very map. It was Haven that took the chance of going to Champions out of their hands. For Soldan, I'm sure he's looking to put up some numbers right here and now, but it's been a slower start. 3-1, you know, still very early days, but the economy is where the concern comes in. This is Vodafone Giants, as they were formerly called, just Giants now. Opportunity to take an absolutely stellar start, but they again have to avoid losing too many weapons. Their economy is still a little bit shaky, but they're only up against pistols.
Yeah, again, a chance for Vitinho to farm. Waiting for them to try and peek through. Spike drop, that should pull a rotation to support him here, and already Cloud is going to be in position. Any damage they can do here would be beneficial, and the stun's not bad. It's left him in an awkward spot. Again, though, he has a teammate ready, holding the angle, and just not missing a single shot. Zimfree will at least drop that operator, but let's be honest, it doesn't matter.
No, again, they've got a crossfire on the site. One player on back gets stunned. Cloud in the corner, but he got flashed. Got the first kill, fair enough. The second and third, maybe not so much. Little bit ridiculous the value they've just walked out with, and the impact can be felt. Now they've got those credits to back them up if this round goes a little awry, and it very well might. Just look at what Detonation FocusMe are bringing into this DFM. 4 ultimates online and 1 away from a Blade Storm on Soldan. If ever there's a time, let's see them put a round on the board here.
Yeah, and there's still a couple of vulnerabilities, so there are definite opportunities. It does seem like, though, I like that. They actually have a nano. Vitinho's just gone through it. He's probably spotted the majority walking through, and there might be a nasty surprise for Zimfree if he tries to cross his path. It has gone well on the site, though, as they get the opener.
Oh, they've spotted him at least, though. They won't fall victim to that sneaky operator and instead punish and find the plant. Now a 5 versus 3 to work with. And DFM, they've done a fantastic job. I love the Nano Swarm right away, trying to block off that player so the Rolling Thunder catches him, so you clean up the site for free. It doesn't work out yet. They still manage to clean it up nicely and put a bow on top. Giants calling a save already.
It's understandable. Other than the last round, everything has been very close. Like one player clutching in the round before, and of 4 players surviving, but ultimately they've got some weaker weapons here. Probably just going to try and make things costly. Not allow Detonation to get away with too much, even having the stuns to try and hold them into the spike. But the rest of the team are slowly making their way in that direction to try and get rid of these players and have a safe exit.
And with so many players on the attack here, yeah, I mean, they could decide to just go sprinting down to punish, but they have their own economy to consider. You know, just a couple 100 credits sitting on each player. They'll attempt some spams, but in the end, Giants will get away with their 3 rifles. But the Pacific side now builds up their credits, and they managed to win that round where we highlighted, you know, all the ultis they had in play. Well, they only used the one and a nanoswarm to take that site, and what a cleanup by Zenfree on short. That op could have changed the round completely if it was left unchecked.
Yeah, for sure. Now, again, as you mentioned, they still have all of those ults available, and it looks like a lot of their initial setups are very direct. So the same thing again, looking to try and challenge for that C long control. On the other side of things, Giants are now looking to try and take away long on A, because it was really fought for, rushed through in the previous round. Instead, though, they're waiting to see if anybody peeks, and Rhyme, I don't think he's going to give them that battle.
Yeah, exactly. You can see him just jump peeking it. Patient man for sure. He's got his utility, and of course there's a player watching the cross, now spotting that Soldam's gone into the site. They've yet to deal with him. There we go. The cleanup eventually. Lots of utility coming their way, but it's keeping DFM out of the site. The Hunter's Fury chasing them right the way back to their own spawn. And at this point, they're starting to look for other opportunities. It looks like they're going to gamble on a faster rotate to the A site. Not even. That little slowdown from Suggest as he watches for a push out of Garage. They realized 55 or a minute left on the clock when they made that call. They can slow it down and see if there's any reaction from that Giant side. So far, that hasn't happened. So 45, yeah, let's start moving towards the site.
Yeah, the problem is now you're starting to see that reposition from Giants. Already a rotation from Cloud going back in that direction. You got Vitinho from above. He just wants to take one and try and move back, but that's the info they had at least. Now, there is still going to be that lockdown available for the post-plant. That might be something to try and highlight when going into that after-plant position, if they can get into the after-plant, because they're trying to hit them with the shock darts.
They waited as well. You know, those shock darts coming up and over. They pop down the lockdown, avoid getting taken down on the spike plant as well, even damaged up too much, and Suggest now 48 HP, going to sit down below holding utility for the eventual retake that will be mounted. They've committed 1 player to watching the back, which is Rada. Won't be able to do all too much, and now realizing it's clear, going to come to hold forward. I mean, this is a well stacked up site for DFM. Giants are going to find it hard to get any sort of space in. They need a hero play, and there's just nobody to take that mantle right now. A fantastic stun. And puts a halt to Hoodie's push. He can still isolate the fights, but he doesn't win them.
Yeah, decent crossfires, but more importantly, I think it was actually the grab well from Zenfree that does most of the work, because you see Vitinho, he's like right into the site, and the rest of the players are all stuck trying to make their way through from that defensive position. So just good utility use, fantastic crossfires as well from Detonation, and that was one of the things coming into this match where I was going, okay, on paper, for me, Giants look like a way better team. Like, you've picked up a load of different superstars. Okay, there's been a few role shifts here and there, but they're players I believe can do it. I don't think I've ever seen Nuke not be able to play an Agent Hoodie the same. So I wasn't really too worried on that. I was more worried whether or not Detonation would be able to match up to just the firepower, because I have very high expectations of people like Cloud. So far, they have been. It has been a back and forth. It's been close in clutch rounds, and even at some points for Giants, been a little bit sloppy. So I am actually starting to believe that there's a chance that Detonation could do some real damage in this match.
You know, we mentioned some of the other players on this server and their experience on LAN. I mean, over on Giants, obviously Vitinho, as we heard from Mimi on the desk, we haven't seen him really play at this level ever, right? First time on an international stage, even when it comes to LAN events, fairly limited in Valorant, gone back to CS, has a little bit of experience, but you look at Cloud, he's also in a similar bracket. He's never been to an international event. He played at a Masters, but that was a regional Masters way back in the day. This is a guy who is getting experience playing in front of a crowd like this, hearing that roar, and, well, it doesn't seem to be shaking him even slightly.
Correct me if I'm wrong, that wasn't even the Europe Masters either.
No, it was the CIS Masters.
Had their own
exactly,
one, so
yep.
it wasn't even
It
close.
wasn't even in the MEA at that point,
yeah,
you know, or I mean, it didn't exist, I think. It was
exactly.
just EU, so, yeah.
But I think you had a Turkish Masters as well, so it was a very different landscape in Valorant at that point.
And then obviously, you know, we mentioned Soldam. He hasn't played at an international game. So close to making it to champs. Anthem's the other guy on their team. Played at First Strike, came 5th to 6th. That was a Korean First Strike way back in the day. And, well, hasn't got a whole lot of accolades under his belt. This is a big opportunity for him to make a name for himself on the international stage. You know, currently attack side Killjoy, we're not expecting him to steal the show or anything, but a player to keep an eye on and how he forms. Sort of the rookie of the roster.
But that's the interesting thing, again, about this roster is that you go back and the majority of the players on this team were duelists or initiators. So they've also had to switch up roles. I think Anthem is one of the players that definitely suffered a little bit, especially now that people have moved away from playing that chamber where it's like, oh yeah, playing Sentinel, and now actually having to have a little bit more of a proper setup.
So this is the kind of round where you often want to see how it develops. It could just be a flat one. They come in and they stomp them, but 40 seconds on the clock and a 4-man stack from Giants on this C site. Pistols, obviously, that's why we're saying it's not a big deal, but they might be able to get something done. And Rhyme is up right close. He's in the smoke, dancing through the cloud burst. He'll only get one, and nobody else is able to take a kill. Soldam dealing with the round nicely, and he almost goes down, but in the end, it's a 4v1 post plant, and that one is the man with the Sheriff.
Yeah, it was a good read from Giants. 3 players there. I think it was mainly because they had the lockdown if they really wanted to try and push a retake elsewhere on the map. But ultimately, solid trading, isolated the jewels, even just the space that was taken again from Soldam. That's the thing. I think statistically you're going to look at him throughout this game and be like, you know, is he coming back? But he is every round dashing into a smoke on the site so that everybody else can find the space. Now, the main time... Oh! He got there in the end. We'll just edit the rest out. We'll edit the rest out. It's fine.
10-4 now. That was his 10th kill. Beautiful stuff out of Cloud. Maybe his 9th best kill so far. But look, we've tied it up. And for DFM, they were in some rocky shape to start things out. Losing the pistol, 3rd round came very close. They got answered back on immediately. Economy started to build up for Giants. At 4-1, one little mistake from DFM could have just taken this half out of their hands completely. And instead, they're neck and neck. They're competing. And I think most people will almost be surprised by that result so far. Giants have been pinned as a heavy favorite. Well, there's one man who's wearing every jersey in this tournament. I don't think that counts.
Well, here goes Soldam again. He does get the opener, but he's betrayed that. He doesn't like those aftershocks, and Cloud's looking to take this one into his own hands. I feel like they've avoided him over the last few rounds, but the second they faced into this man's crosshair, it normally results in death.
It's immediate crunch on A. It's hard to deal with when you decide to take that fast main control and your opponents have the same idea. It is a meat grinder, and, well, this time DFM left in a minced state. Most of their team shredded. And they're the final remaining members too. Stood on long, tucked in, just waiting for the flank, or again, the mistake, the over-rotation, the overextension. It doesn't happen. Giants are playing a very patient game.
I like the fact, though, that we're seeing them do this every time. Like, a lot of the opening duels have been going Giants' way. And in every single round, you see Detonation just go, okay, we're not going to rush into things. We're not going to try and punish that player. We're not going to overface. We're going to slow right down and hope the Giants make a mistake. Now, Giants haven't made a massive amount. A lot of the more direct takes have been what have been working for Detonation, and that's why we're having quite a few sort of back and forth rounds. With 30 seconds, though, I like the idea. We're trying to at least find something here, but look how ready they are for this. Just patiently waiting. Even still, though, they have managed to make this a better scenario by getting rid of Nuke here. Yeah,
that didn't look like it was going to be very winnable at all. Okay, Zemfree's gone down, though. He was still pushed up. They probably expect him to fall back. You know, you try to get the jump on them, but it ain't worked out, and that recon has ruined him. Another star round for Cloud. This guy is just on fire here. And again, this is his international debut, and he's barely breaking a sweat. What's that, 13-4?
This is one of the players where you sort of hear that Giants have got that deal through. It was one of the ones where I think there wasn't even that much contention for it, and I was gobsmacked. Because if you speak to the majority of sort of coaches within EMEA, talent within EMEA, Cloud should be near the top of your list of players that you should be signing. Very, very young, and also someone who, on that Na'Vi roster, was unbelievably flexible. Not only came in as an initiator, which for younger players, okay, you got people like Leo who probably match up, but other than that, not really. But he could also play like a Mean Raze, a Neon, like he had that star potential. So the fact that he's come into Giants, he's alongside other superstars, and right now, he's making them look average.
You know the funny thing as well, he's the only man on a server, playing a Sova as well, the only man on the server without an assist. He just kills. He doesn't need to help anyone else. at least help them get a kill. He's just going to do it for them. Don't worry.
But that's the thing, he is scanning people. He just then kills them before anyone else
well,
can.
He didn't even scan the last guy. He just shot him as soon as he hit the dart. In the head as well, I'll say. You know, it's been a different game than I expected. And one of the things that's really getting is, you know, DFM, I see some of the issues that they're having, like teething issues at this level. When you're pumping the brakes a lot and you don't have those ideas on how to recover those early fumbles, it's often because, like, at the lower level, you're going to play against teams who go, oh, we're 5v3, let's run it down, boys, let's get them all! And then you just wait, hold angle, and kill them all. But you know, it's not working yet. They're still able to have that little bit of a push into a site. They're getting a foothold. There's a serious amount of play on the table right now, and their attack side's looking good. We've seen Soldown start to warm up as well. Certainly a promising beginning to this series.
I'll be honest, Nuki, I don't think anyone's going to stand there again. You only get wallbanged by that once.
But see, there's value in it. There's value in it. It just stops you going window early.
A completely different approach this round, though. Like, we've seen them fight the extremities almost every single round. It has been A takes, it's been C takes. Mid, only really been direct pushes into B. This time, though, looking to put that pressure in onto Garage, but there's already utility waiting. Nuke is rotated in as well to have that supportive util if needed. And with no pressure on A, okay, they've fallen back a little bit.
Yeah, you know, at the same time, we've seen these retake attempts on C before, and it's often when we have Killjoy inside a garage or just outside in the window where they're able to back off. They're committing hard to it this time. I don't know if that's going to be something that DFM expect. They haven't had to burn their utility up a ton when pushing into this site because of the way they'll fall back, and certainly not hold those kind of angles, but now that's a problem! Rhyme solves it right away! A smoke down and a teammate to help! That is gorgeous! Giants should have been down and out. That should have been Nukia stuck on C site and being surrounded. Instead, they have the control. The one thing, maybe Anthem, you know, we've seen him sneakily play up to B main. Now he's in the back of B site. But again, Giants have been very cautious with making these rotations, that they're not going through parts of the map that they've given up.
Yeah, I think they're going to realize, especially very soon, that this is that take, and they've actually already got themselves a Hunter's Fury ready. It's going to go down, at least with the spike, but that is Zimfree dead. Now Anthem, we've already seen a 1v4 attempted. Can he pull it off?
This will be tough. They're all coming the same direction, though. Possibility for a lineup, but he really needs a miracle, the rookie of the squad. A chance to prove himself beyond anyone's doubt, but only gets the one. And Giants walk out with a 6th. You know, they didn't manage to deny the plant with the Hunter's Fury, but of course Cloud follows through with the kill. Might be the first time. I don't know if he got the assist there, but he did get traded. So at least that's technical. I'm going to count it as an assist. He's done it. No, it's not on the board, though.
No, he hasn't.
God damn it.
So the thing is that for Detonation, it's a little bit unlucky. Like, ultimately, the stun was very good. If they get rid of Rhyme there, this becomes a very different round. You have an easy fight to take versus Nuke rather than having to run through a smoke for a trade. And basically, Rhyme in that round just won it for them.
The Giants fans, they've come all the way. And you know, looking at Rhyme, he's a guy that definitely needs a shout out. Even if you look back through their past history, like their last couple of games, this guy's tearing it up when it comes to that controller role. Now, right away, Giants want to fight for some A-long control. They've got an op here and everything, but they've also got the entirety of the enemy team as DFM up the pace and move right into the site. An attempt down to Soldown. Oh, he's in a lot of danger. There's a shorty, and Patino's got him with it. Down to the operator now for another, and then Cloud shows up. His big moment, well, kind of goes awry in the end, but Nuke is there to catch him when he falls. 7-4. And Giants, they've really picked up the pace towards the end of this half, but it's not over yet. DFM could put a 5th there to close it out.
The thing is, I think the only round where Giants have fought for A and it has actually gone in the direction of Detonation was the round where they had a Rolling Thunder. Other than that, they've just not really been able to get in. It was when it's given up and played as a retake, that's the moment where you sort of see them get into their afterplants and look very, very good. The second you have players like Cloud there, it's so tough to break in. And well, Patino showing that that level is definitely there if you give them the chance.
Okay, breach early stun. It's ready to go. They avoided it, though. Hey, I saw DFM, 4 players on A main, a breach there on the defensive side. I was thinking, we're in a lot of trouble, but...
Well, they've got the Rolling Thunder this round, so they probably wanted to try and use it there.
Exactly. And if they get hit by that stun, maybe you lose it. Instead, they're going to have a chance to use it now. Already, Hunter's Fury thrown out, catching major damage. Rhyme goes down through the wall, but there's still players here to defend. That Rolling Thunder is going to be burned up, and that should force a retake setup.
This battle on the flank, though, could be fairly important. Lockdown going to be utilized on either side. Not really an opportunity to destroy it, but Raid already catching Fatinho. That means they know that there's been an aggressive push through that A site and potentially leaves it open on the other side. And in fact, it looks like Giants may be considering that as well. The thing is, though, with the spike down, they're not going to worry so much about that rotation. Already just looking to try and get back into the site. With all 4 players down long, no wraparound, but that isn't going to be known. UK still just holding for it.
It's the stun, the shocks. I mean, they have so much utility. And now as it wanes, they should have the numbers, but Raid is left alone and he can't manage to deny. They had every tool at their disposal there. It began so well, and in a blink of an eye, Giants have doubled up the rounds, 8-4. We were complimenting this DFM team on how solid they were looking early on, but now they could be in dire straits.
Yeah, it's one of those scenarios where you kind of sat there and wondering how they managed to win every single fight. It was just this battle from UK just defending the person defusing, but ultimately, other than that, the round was very, very good for the side of Detonation. They just couldn't take it over the line.
Wow, an absolutely incredible half coming out of Giants towards the end there. DFM, well, let's find out from the analyst desk if there's any hope.
Well, it's going to be really difficult when you got Cloud dropping 17 in the first half. Welcome back to the desk here. And yeah, I mean, Seth, like, it was very clear. Cloud's having the game that you want to have right now on that stage.
He's having a whale of a time. He watched Crashies playing earlier, playing that Sova, and he went, I think I will also do this. And he's just been pounding. Detonation, a couple good moments, like Mitch and Tom were mentioning. Off the top, it looked like, okay, they're rebounding after dropping those first couple rounds. They're running it back. They get 4 in this half. Then maybe they can push this to have a 6-6 or a 7-5 for themselves. Not the case. Cloud has shut down so many attempts for Detonation to get themselves onto the sites. When they've gotten in there, it's been, sometimes it's been pretty good. But Cloud has just been stopping them at every twist and turn. 366 ACS so far, 17-0-7. At one point, he was 14-4. I guess he just likes the number synergy coming out there. But, I mean, God knows how far this is going to keep going as we get ready to see them on the attacking half.
Yeah, it was really impressive out of him. I feel like he did a fantastic job of exploiting every gap in the spacing from DFM. But DFM did have their moments. As we look ahead here, I actually wanted to take a look at one of the rounds from that first half. And this was a fantastic post plant from DFM here. You can see the post plant late round Killjoy lockdown to buy themselves some space. And that's not really the fixation I had. Instead, I kind of wanted to talk about how they set up together in this one. You say Anthem perfectly playing around the cloudburst that drops in. They're in positions to swing together and take these fights in twos and are able to pretty quickly trade each other out. You see, even at the end, a nice little setup out of DFM. It's solid basic stuff, but it's what they need in the second half. Because with these Breach Sova Jet comps, you have to be playing retake a whole lot. We saw it in that first half. We saw it in our first match. So I'm looking towards DFM to be able to be coordinated, give that space, and come back in together on those retakes to maybe have a chance at coming back into this one.
I mean, this is one of the things that Suggest should be really familiar with. From his time on New Turn, he was absolutely incredible at engineering those retakes on various sites. If they can get back into the group, get the rest of the team behind him to pull it off, maybe there's a hope.
Well, you know what, guys? We ain't saying that it's all over. They certainly have an opportunity to come back, but boy, oh boy, it's going to be tough. Let's send it back over to Mitch and Tom.
Well, it was a fantastic start to this one, but as the analyst desk said, it became a little shaky towards the end. We'll see if they're going to be able to make that comeback. Defensive side at least to start with, and this is an opportunity for Anthem as well. We'll be keeping an eye on that Killjoy play on defensive side. You see a lot of the map control here in the pistol is going to be held down just by him. But Giants, well, they are playing a very slow default. It looks like they are expecting DFM to make the play, and I'm seeing players start to move down C long. They might be watching their tapes.
Well, I don't know what tapes they've been watching. There've been
screens,
barely
bro.
anything to
The
see.
streams.
Like, I don't know how
Sold
they've got
out
this
YouTube
information,
videos,
but
bro.
Yeah, they seem to have it. They're ready in this pistol round, and Rhyme just destroying them. Zimfree stuck in the corner. Doesn't have any support either. Shot darts even going through. He's having to try and dance around their own. Oh, nice shot onto the first, but the trade is there instantly from Cloud. Again, though, just look at the patience from the rest of the players. Hoodie was just waiting, expecting someone to make a move, and now they can reset with their advantage.
A sneaky little play by Rada. Maybe there's some value to be found there.
He needs like 2, though.
But
let's
he
be
needs
real.
2 to come long as well. If they go short, okay, all 3, and he's peeked out. Element of Surprise gets 1, there's a second. And now a serious chance. We said it was keep an eye on the Killjoy. Well, It's going to be a 1-to-1 battle here. Anthem up against Hoodie. Anthem has come in with a Sheriff.
Yeah, I don't know if you see
He's
that.
running it.
Oh, and he's just going to go running in. And well, wanted to try and catch him maybe while planting, but he did not.
That man has got some serious ideas rattling around up there. That was interesting. Just a blitz. Hey, I didn't see it coming. I'm not sure that his opponent did, but Hoodie still hit the shot. So 9-4 and a pistol round loss. Now, you know, look, if you're down 8-4 at the half, you really want to get that pistol. I don't know that even having lost it, you'll want to do the force buy, though. It could be a 10-4 reset and try to fight your way back. If this was a month ago, they'd be trying to sting it up, but instead...
A month, a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Instead, here we are. And it's going to be a very, very weak buy. I mean, 2 shorties. It's the most they've got.
Yeah, that really is about it. And on the other side of things, you're almost fully buying rifles. Only for Tino, and you know his role is going to be to pretty much dive into the site. Having a rifle there won't even be a benefit. So stacking up on A, having the turret for B, basically just trying to have a stack somewhere, a little bit of information elsewhere on the map, and a tiny amount of delaying power. But it is a pure gamble, and you really can't expect anything from this round. Even a kill here would be good.
Yeah, I mean, look, with 2 shorties, you're not going to be pushing all too actively on DFM. This is very much sit back and wait, hope that they fall into your hands. For Giants, you know, seeing this heavier investment, if you think back to DFM second round, you know, these guys, we had that idea of 2 Bulldogs coming in, right? And Giants are able to save over. Now they're on the attack. They've got a much heavier investment, but it's also much easier to keep those weapons. You're often just moving in like this as a spear. Maybe Fatino goes down, but the rifle should be able to trade, and if all goes well, you only lose that 1 player on the way through. All's gone very well because they've lost no one on the way through, and the retake, okay, a stun comes through, but they're going to have to do some serious work.
Okay, there's the 1. At least a little bit of damage. A rifle on the deck. If they can get rid of, an extra player, they won't be able to save it. And there you go. 2 kills. Honestly, that's all you can hope for. And while Raider left on 2 HP, wasn't really going to stand much of a chance, but that's okay.
That's an acceptable round if we see Giants push A even into the stack if you lose 2 players.
Yeah.
So the fact that they did that on a retake with 2 shorties, and also credit where it's due, Soldam, my man dashing into the site with that shorty, jumping up over the box. I love it. And, you know, it's a very hard strategy to counter in the heat of the moment. 10-4. Fought the space on the way back through, did some damage. And now DFM have the opportunity to capitalize on it. And that's the real thing. Right now, all that they've done could just be washed away if they end up losing this round, and especially if they lose it cleanly on the DFM side, that is. Oh, wow. This is going to be a pacey one from Giants. We're already in. Dash out of Fatino. Reveals catching some, but they're just spraying them down!
Yeah, they've just mowed them completely. Maybe expecting a weaker purchase on the other side, I don't know, but it was just a full W key into the site on the retake, trying to get in before they could properly set up, but it's clear that Giants were more than ready for this. While the players on the other side just kind of go, well, I guess I'm keeping my Vandal.
If you play that round slow, defaulty, it's going to be a very tough round. 2 players came in with Sheriffs. Your utility's good, right? But you have to win fights on even territory for the most part, and the only disadvantage you'll have is on your side if one of your Sheriffs gets peaked. So instead they say, all right, let's mitigate that risk a little bit by just all running at them. Just bullets in there. Just spray them down, who cares? And if you die, I'll pick up your gun and I'll shoot them. It worked, you know, and you can see DFM were not ready for that pace that came out of the attacking side. 11-4.
Yeah, this first map is now starting to look quite rough. Like, we were sat at a point of 4-4, thinking that Detonation, okay, this might be like a competitive match, but whoa, we're sat now 7 rounds later and they haven't got a single round. It really is starting to be a blitz, and unfortunately that retake is one of those ones where it's, if they're the ones with a weaker buy, I'm fine with it, but you're the ones that have come in with the rifles, you're the one with the full purchase, you're basically sprinting in to try and catch a timing. That's such a risk.
You know, I would love to end up under the sea here on Pearl, but I don't think we're going to make it, man. This first map, this is DFM's pick. And look, some signs of life there to begin with, but it seems like Giants on a roll and DFM haven't been able to stop them. The pace caught them off, but look, an investment here. This is their final stand.
He did some damage with that wallbang. Zimbri's down to 78 HP, so it's...
This team, between their wall bangs, their spams and smokes, it's just unreal. I know in the last round it was sort of a player dancing around the edge of the cloud burst, but even still, they're
What's
this is
Piston
not
got them
normally
training?
Yeah.
Just-
He's been on the AIM Lab one, you know, because you can do every single site, every map in Valorant on AIM Lab, and you can track around all the corners. That's clearly what they're doing to learn their spray control properly.
Well, it is a retake setup at the moment on that A site. Hunter's Fury could potentially delay, but other than that, there isn't a whole lot to get them back into that site afterwards, and the last retake didn't exactly go well. They are now getting that information, Mitch, from C Long, but the problem is they're not going to be able to fight this site. There really isn't much they can do about it, other than, as said, that Hunter's Fury to delay.
Well, you're definitely seeing the preference of DFM for the C Long pushes
they know.
when they don't get the info
They
early
know.
on.
They tap the spike just to bait out this Hunter's Fury,
Beautiful.
and Giants have just played this to perfection.
Well, the Hunter's Fury, still, that was the point of it even, just
True.
to deny that plan to buy time for the flank, but it's expected, it's watched for, and this comes down to Hoodie. His first kill already found. Zenfree, who got tagged up by Rhyme earlier on, walks in, and the stun hadn't been put out yet. Hoodie's in the corner, they won't push him out in time. He gets to fight Suggest, but he loses. Doesn't seem to matter all too much with his teammates falling. Oh, okay, nice shot, Anthem, but again, through the smoke. Cloud able to clean it up, and Suggest is left in a really tough position. One kill for a Rolling Thunder, but it's time, it's HP. With those two players unknown, right,
They got
tucked
Hunter's
away.
Fury. It's done.
Oh, yeah,
it's already
Hunter's
done.
Fury, I hadn't even caught that.
There's no chance. Like,
Just
Cloud has been
stacking
getting
up.
so many kills. Look how far away he is as well. He knows that they don't have time to do anything here, so just basically waiting to try and catch him on the exit. It's going to be 12 for Giants, and honestly, with this being the pick as well of Detonation, okay, I will admit, anybody who picks Icebox, I'm never confident that they're going to cleanly win Icebox because it is just one of those maps. But still, this is not a good showing for your own map choice.
At the same time, the absolutely stellar performance of Cloud cannot be overlooked. This guy is sitting at 24-9. He has got his assist, though.
He is 19 years old.
Unbelievable. And how many times have we made the excuses for other teams in the past? Oh, they're out of LAN and crowd and all the things that go along with it.
Yeah.
And also, he's traveled quite far. Jet
Yeah.
lag's certainly a big factor.
I will
On
say.
the other side, yeah,
A little bit
they've got a
further.
bit more of an excuse when it comes to the jet lag. But
30 hours of travel.
I mean, the reality is, man, there's a lot that Cloud is experiencing here for the very first time. Even, and I'm sure we'll talk to him about this at some stage, even like the pacing of media days, and you get there, you think,
Yeah.
man, we're going to practice like 16 games a day, we're just going to be non-stop, and then it's like, no, you're actually going to be doing content and all these interviews and all these obligations that you have. And even despite all of those things that we've seen many a player struggle with in the past, he has come out swinging.
Well, this is the sort of last-ditch effort now for Detonation. The buy's not going to be the best. Ults, there are none. And they have to try and not only squeak out a round, but they have to, well, let's put it this way. Giants have just won 8 rounds in a row. They now need to do that to get to overtime.
I'll say it's not often you get a Pipson cam in the middle of a timeout, or ever, that he ain't talking. But right there, he ain't got anything to say. You know, there's not much that needs to be said.
Carry on.
That's about all you need. 12-4. 8 in a row needed for DFM, and they have struggled to get anything, really, at this point. You can see round 8 the last time that we saw anything from them, any sign of life. And, well, now they've got to resurrect themselves right here and now, a default play to start with. And this might be the time they catch some value from it. For once, we're seeing a push early on out of DFM. They're starting to move down in mid, right off the rip. Now, there is an alarm
Ready
bot
for it,
waiting.
though. There's an alarm bot, there's a turret watching the other side. Like, I think Giants have just read this game to perfection, pretty much from start to finish. The second they sort of saw what Detonation were doing, they're just now waiting for them to make a mistake. And even still, even if they just push towards the A site right now, the only player there is Raider. Everyone else is just banking that there's going to be an aggressive play into middle, and right now there's nothing.
Such a tough spot to play from if you're DFM. You don't want to make that call to overextend, but at the same time, you got a player like Raider who right now, what is he supposed to do? Tell me that. What is the correct play here for Raider? There isn't one. He's going to try to get some damage. And
Okay,
I
that was
stand
it.
corrected,
That was it.
Raider. You have found the correct play, and that's why you're on the server.
Yeah, no, fair play. Coming out of that with 2 is impressive. Flank being watched, new kick, already taking the first pick, a second as well. That advantage just dissipates in a matter of seconds. They now know where one of these players are, and because of that, they're going to try and aggress. They might actually completely dodge this Rolling Thunder. It's just disgusting. Finally, it connects onto one of them, but Suggest on just 46 HP. Cloud, he's already avoided it, and it is an easy dub for Giants. They won themselves 9 rounds in a row to close out this game, and they are looking very good on day 1 of lock-in.
And it's the 2 players new to this environment, new to the LAN, that end up surviving in that final round, closing it out at 13-4. Fatinho and Cloud.
Good, you know, Sovas are good.
The Sovas are pretty good. Yeah, look, credit where it's due for Rada as well. That guy was on fire. Some incredible value found from positions where most players would struggle to get 1 or even half HP on a player. The 3 guys holding him when he ran out of that smoke, but mistakes were made on the other side, and the punishment was there. Giants